In the previous episode, we had seen how Pragnananda was solving a study blindfolded. We are going to do two more positions with him, but the first one is going to be the position from the famous composer Affect, and his specialty is about pawn under promotion. And the second one he is going to solve famous composer Gurgenidze and his specialty that we will see later. Okay, Prag, I'm going to make you solve two more positions blindfolded. Are you ready?
Yes.
Can you wear this blindfold for us? So the first position, this one is by famous composer Affect, and I will not reveal the theme now. Let's go to it later. Okay. So the first position, the white king on e7, pawn f7, knight g8, pawns g3, g4. For black, the king on g6, rook h7, pawn g5. Have you understood the position well?
Yes.
Okay, so take your time and try to solve the position blindfolded. So now look at the position closely. My suggestion, take 10 minutes time to think about the position. You can pause the video, think for 10 minutes and write down the answers. Once you got the answer, you can start the video again and then continue listening to my answer. Okay, Prag, have you got the answer now?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, can you tell me the last move, please?
It's rook f7 check.
Rook f7 check by white.
Yes.
Okay, so can you remove the blindfold, please? Okay, fine. So let me guess Prag's answer from what he said. He said rook f7 check for white. Okay, so let's go to the position and see the solution now. Now, as we see, the pawn on f7 is under pin and white is an exchange down. Black is threatening to play rook into f7 check. So we cannot afford to give the pawn, and there is only one way to protect the pawn, that is by playing knight h6. Now, Prag, can you tell me what happens if black takes rook takes h6?
Then f8 queens.
f8 queens. Simply it's a easy win, right? Yes. So he cannot take rook takes h6. So the only move he has to do is
King and h6.
King takes h6. And now what white should do?
Now king e8.
King e8. Now after king e8, white is threatening to play f8 queen and promote the pawn. And the only way to stop that is
Rook h8 check.
Rook h8 check. In this point, black has one more clever option. I'm going to ask Prag, has he found it?
King g6?
Yeah, very good. King g6. Let's see what happens after rook h8 first, and then we will come back to king g6. Now, Prag, can you tell me what is the point of rook h8 check, and what happens if white plays f8 queen?
If white plays f8 queen, black can play king g6. Then if you take queen at h8, it's a stalemate.
Very good. So, if we play f8 queen, then black does not take rook f8, in which case the pawn ending is winning for white. So let's see how it is winning for white. After f8 queen, if black takes rook f8 check, king takes f8, king g6, king e7, king g7, king e6, king g6, king e5, king h6, king f5, and then eventually he will lose the g5 pawn and white promotes the pawn and wins the game. Is that true, Prag?
Yes.
Okay, so he cannot play rook takes f8, black has to play king g6. And now if we take queen takes h8, because there is no other queen move because the queen is under pin, and we see a fantastic theme, that is stalemate. And while solving studies, you always have to be aware of this trick, the defensive trick, that is stalemate. Now, we cannot play f8 queen, so we have to see other means of playing for a win, and he came up with promoting the pawn to a rook. And this is what I was saying earlier, Affect's speciality is under promotion. So f8 rook, and now he has to play rook h7, if he wants to avoid the exchange. And then what happens?
Rook f6 check.
Rook f6 check.
King g7.
King g7.
Rook f7 check.
Rook f7 check. So this was the move Pragg was giving earlier. So you see how he is able to visualize the position in his mind, calculate very fast, and not just that, he is seeing in depth, he is seeing multiple variations and also getting the answer correctly. So while solving a position and analyzing in general, 4 things we have to keep in mind. 1, you have to go very deep into the position. 2, you have to see multiple variations. 3, you have to get the answer correctly without mistakes. 4, you have to do all this quickly. The time you spend, it should be efficient. You shouldn't spend too much time at the later stage. In the initial stage, when you are young and learning to solve studies, if you are taking too much time is fine. But over a period of time, once you understood the knack of solving the positions, then you can improve the speed later on. Okay, so now let's go to the next position. Pragg, are you ready to do one more position blindfolded?
Yes.
Okay, so this time I'm going to give one position by Gurgenidze, and his specialty we are going to learn from this position. Are you ready?
Yes.
So listen to my voice and understand the position in your mind. Now for the audience, I would suggest if you are an intermediate level player, probably let's say above 1600 FIDE rating or so, you can also try it out at home. When I give the position, you can also try to listen to the position with your ears and then close your eyes and try to solve the position. It could be difficult initially, but if you want to try, you can give it a try. Okay, Pragg. So the position, white king b5, knight g5, pawn h6, g6, d5 and c2. For black, king h8, rook f8, rook a3, pawns f7, d7 and b7. Now it's white to play and win. Okay, so Pragg, have you got the answer?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell me the last move?
D into c6.
D into c6. Now viewers, have you got the answer? Probably most of you did not get the answer, but that's fine. I would suggest you to think for another 10 minutes. Those of you who have not got the answer, pause the video, think for 10 minutes and then start the video again. Now I am going to explain the answer on the chessboard. Pragg, you can remove the blindfold. Thank you. So let's see how the position pans out on the board in front of us. In this position, white has 2 strong pass pawns, h6 and g6, and this is going to play the decisive role. We also see that white is an exchange down and also an rook down. So despite being materially down, he is still winning because of these 2 pass pawns. The first move is very obvious. It is g7 check. And black's move is forced. He plays king g8. And white has 3 options here. 1, h7 check. 2, g takes f8 queen. 3, that will come to it later. So let's see the first option, h7 check. Black simply takes king g7 and he wins the game. So we can eliminate this option. And let's go to the second continuation, g takes f8 queen. And after king takes f8, h7, king g7, the pawn is stopped, and being an exchange down, white has to resign and nothing better to do. Now the third option, we have to go a little deeper. You can pause and think for few minutes if you like. Now let's see. The main move is knight h7. Now with knight h7, what is happening? White has 2 threats. One is simply knight f6 checkmate. The other option, g takes f8 queen. So if black takes king takes h7, we simply take g f8 queen, and being a queen up, white should win the game easily. Now pause here for few minutes and try to find the best defense for black. Pragg, can you tell me what is the best defense for black here?
Rook a5 check.
Rook a5 check. Now this is very important. I have given this position to many players and most of them get stuck at this point and reject the move knight h7 completely. So what is happening here? So after knight h7, we are threatening knight f6 check, and also gf8 queen, and it looks like black has no defense against this. But whenever we are calculating and we face a difficulty like this, we have to start looking at forcing moves. This I have already explained in the beginners section. The forcing moves are check, capture, threat, and pawn breaks. And check is the best accelerator according to Smith's law. So we have to see the checks first in any position. So we have rook a5 check. So you see, as long as there are forcing moves to be played, we should never stop the variation in the middle. So black plays rook a5 check. Now white has few possibilities. One, he can capture the rook king a5, or he can move the rook to different squares. So the different squares are king to b6, king b4, king c4. If he takes king into a5, Prag, what should happen?
Rook a8 check.
Rook a8 check followed by king takes h7. So that's not working. So we can eliminate king a5. Now if we go king b6, what happens, Prag?
It's rook a6 check.
Rook a6 check, and if I take king b7?
Rook b8 check.
Rook b8 check. And whichever rook you capture, he will simply take king h7. The king stops both the pawn. Black will have an extra rook and he wins the game. So now let's see the other options. If I go king c4, what happens, Prag?
Rook c8 check.
Rook c8 check, and then king h7. So by the process of elimination, we have rejected all other possibilities and we realize the move we have to analyze is king b4. Now many of you might be wondering, how do I know if king b4 wins for white or not? You don't really have to know whether it is winning or not at this point of time. We simply have to know all other moves are losing for white. So once you have eliminated all other losing possibilities, whatever is left in front of you, you simply have to go through the whole process. At the end, we will know whether it is winning or not. Okay, so let's see king b4. And black is faced with the same problem. One, knight f6 checkmate. The other is gf8 queen, and white is winning. So the only difference, as we have seen already, it's rook a4 check, because we have to see the forcing moves and there is only one check available. So that makes rook a4 is forced. And I believe what Prag saw is king b3, rook a3 check, king b2, rook a2 check. Now if white goes king b1, black is simply going to play rook a1 check. He has to come back king b2, rook a2 check. It will be a draw by perpetual. So we reject king b1 for this reason, and we go king c1. Now black has two checks. Prag?
Rook a1 check and rook c2 check.
Very good. So he has two checks, rook a1 check, rook c2 check. So whenever opponent's move is not forced, you immediately have to make a list. This is extremely important. Some moves, while we are calculating, they will be forced moves, and some moves, they will not be forced moves. So whenever the moves are not forced, we immediately have to pass and make a list. This is called candidate moves. This will be seen in subsequent chapters. So after rook a1 check, what happens?
King d2.
King d2, and the only other check is rook d1 check, king d1, and black simply loses. He doesn't have a defense against both the threats knight f6 and gf8 queen. So we can eliminate rook a1 check. We have to consider the other option, rook c2 check. Now here white has two options. Prag?
King b1 and king d1.
King b1 and king d1. And what do you think is the best move?
King b1.
Okay, king b1. Can you tell me why king d1 is bad?
Because you will play rook c1 check. If king d2, rook c2 check, king d3, rook c3 check, king d4, rook c4 check. You can't take rook because of rook c8 check.
Okay, so let me go slowly what Prag said. So if we go king d1, black plays rook c1 check, king d2, because if we go to the e file, let's say king e2, black has rook e8 check followed by king h7. So white has to go king d2, black continues the same process, rook c2 check. After king d3, rook c3 check, king d4, rook c4 check. Now there is no way for white to hide the king. He either has to keep coming back and forth from d1 to d4, or he has to go to c or e file, and none of them favors white. So for this reason, we have to reject king d1. So we have to consider king b1. And after king b1, if rook b2 check, king takes b2 and white wins. So the only other check remaining in the position is rook c1 check, king b2, rook c2 check, king b3, rook c3 check, king b4, rook c4 check, king b5, rook c5 check, king b6, rook c6 check, and we finally have dc6. Now we understood why the pawn on d5 is there. We also understand why Pragg said dc6 is the final move. Fantastic, isn't it? Let's quickly do a recap of what we have seen in this episode. So he worked out all these variations in his mind. So that means he has been solving puzzles and studies over a period of years. And if you do that, what happens? You can all solve like Pragg just did in front of us. Okay? So with this, we can conclude this episode of Solving Studies Blindfold with Praggnanandhaa.